Hey guys, Coach Mike Ryan here. We're going to take a quick look at watch the path of Trout's hands and what starts to happen from his stance all the way to the point where his front foot is about to hit the ground. So watch where his hands are there. Now you see him in a sense, and then as he starts to load, now you don't. So I'm going to play that back again. You take a look again. You can take a look. Now you see him, and now you don't. You see he starts, and as soon as his hands start to pull back in the direction to behind him, you're going to notice you start to see a lot more of his elbow appear behind his back, and you see a lot more of his number as well behind his back. So if I play that back again, take a look. So here, notice you don't see much, if any, elbow behind his back. He starts to pick up. Now you can't see his hands, and now you start seeing a lot more elbow back here. This is what we see with big league hitters as they start to load up. The other thing we look at is the clock. So if you want the ideal bat angle generally when the front foot starts to hit the ground is going to be somewhere between 1 and 2 o'clock on the clock. 12 o'clock, a bat would be straight up and down. You're not going to typically see that from big league hitters at the moment the foot lands, but you're also not going to see a flat bat at 3 o'clock. You're going to see the angle of the bat somewhere between 1 and 2 o'clock. And very specifically, you see Trout a little closer to 2, between 1 and 2, and you can see how that bat almost cuts through his neck at that point in time. So what I'm telling you is regardless who the hitter is, you're going to see as their front foot starts to come down, you're going to see that the angle of their bat is going to be very similar. The positioning of their hands are going to be very, very similar. And you're going to see a little bit of that elbow behind the back. Trout 27 as well. This is what we call loading the scap. This needs to happen just before that front foot hits ground. And when you can see when it hits the ground, he's still loaded back. His bat's in a good position. Big thing, the hands are hidden. So when you're throwing batting practice, for example, to your son, or if you're a coach throwing batting practice, a common flaw we typically see is you see how you can see his hands. If you see the hitter's hands the entire time while you're throwing batting practice, that's generally not a good sign. It's okay if you see it in the beginning, but as you start to throw the ball, you got to start seeing the hands start to disappear from your view if you're throwing batting practice to that hitter.